Greetings to you, dear friends. This message comes to you from the Secretariat of the Conference of Major Superiors of Nigeria, MEN. We thank God for His grace bestowed upon this conference throughout its 50 years of existence. This year, 2020, the conference celebrates her Golden Jubilee, and it's a moment of joy and thanksgiving for us. The history of the conference of the Major Superiors of Nigeria, MEN, is a tale of grace in which the consecrated men of Nigeria has worked hard to conform with the mind of the church. The Conference of Major Superiors of Nigeria, MEN, was founded in 1970 at Ibadan. The newly established conference was made up by the leaders of religious institutes and societies of apostolic life. It was organized in response to the request of Pope Pius XII, who in 1950 urged religious around the world to come together in national associations. The aims and objectives of this conference include: 1. To nourish in Nigeria the various types of consecrated life, both active and contemplative, so that they may show the different aspects of Christ's mission and life of the church. 2. To promote cooperation among the institutes and facilitate the exchange of information and ideas on matters of common interests, respecting the autonomy of the individual institutes according to Canon 708. 3. To promote cooperation among the institutes with the bishops and the diocesan clergy, especially in apostolic endeavors. 4. To foster religious vocations so that the faithful may choose freely their way of life in accordance with the inspiration received from the Lord. 5. To provide appropriate official representation with ecclesiastical and civil authorities. 6. To acquire and own land and other real property for the purpose of the conference. 7. To do and to perform such other things as incidental and necessary or helpful in the prosecution of his purpose, as above specified, and to provide suitable place or places for the carrying on and furtherance of such aims and objectives. At its foundation, it was named the Nigerian National Conference of Major Superiors, NNCMS. However, during the General Assembly of the conference in 1997, held at the Pastoral Institute in Ibadan, Father Peter Shinella, SJ, who was then the vice president of the conference, was given the responsibility of seeing to the incorporation of the conference at the Corporate Affairs Commission of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The idea of the incorporation came within a context. There was the proposal to build a male hostel for male students outside the Institute for Formators in Jos. Thus the need to purchase a land. To achieve this, the conference would have to be incorporated. However, at the joint business meeting of the Nigerian Conference of Women Religious and the Nigerian National Conference of Major Superiors, the two conferences agreed to run the institute as a joint project. With this understanding, there was no need to purchase the land for the building of a male hostel, even though the need for incorporation remained relevant. At this point, it was necessary to constitute a board of trustees for the conference. There was also the need for a formal organized constitution for the conference. These needs marked a new page in the history of the conference as the constitution was developed and the first board of trustees constituted. They include Reverend Father Michael Obi Onwemele, CSSP, the president of the conference; Reverend Father Peter Shinella, SJ, the vice president of the conference; Reverend Father Willie Cusack, SMA South, one of the councillors, and Bro Fabian Okeke, FMS, the executive secretary of the conference. At the point of its registration, following the recommendation of the Corporate Affairs Commission, the name of the conference was changed from the Nigerian National Conference of Major Superiors, NNCMS, to the Conference of Major Superiors of Nigeria, CMSN. It was registered at the Corporate Affairs Commission of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on 27 September 1999. As a male conference, it existed from 1970 to the early 1990s as a separate conference from the Nigerian Conference of Women Religious, NCWR. In January 1988, at a meeting of male religious in Jos, it was suggested that there should be a meeting of men and women superiors. It was discussed again in 1989 as a result of, not in spite of the 1988 suggestion for the meeting of men and women. In February 1990 at Oka, during the General Assemblies, the two conferences came together as a group for the first time. In the joint executive meeting held in March 1992, it was decided that the two bodies of the conference should merge. This was in respect of the Women Conference's decision to apply for a piece of land in the new Federal Capital Territory of Abuja. During this period, the status of the joint conference of NCWR and NNCMS was developed. The merged conference was to be referred to as the Nigerian Conference of Men and Women Religious, NCMWR. The NCWR was then headed by Sister Veronica Openibo, who, at the same meeting, handed over to Sister Isabel Mann, SSL, who was then the Vice President of NCWR. We, ever since then, have had annual joint meetings and regular meetings of the joint executive councils of the two groups. And over the years, cooperation between the two conferences has increased, and the benefits of this collaboration has become more apparent. The need for and advantages of further cooperation in areas of interest for the service of the Church and the people of Nigeria have become increasingly undeniably clear. From Friday 29th to Saturday 30th September 1995, the conference, CMSN Men, celebrated her Silver Jubilee at the Pastoral Institute in Ibadan. However, it was poorly attended. Reverend Father Chris Angelo Tibe, OP, was the chairman of the organizing committee for the Silver Jubilee. The Dominican community at Ibadan was never to be forgotten, will never be forgotten, for providing the beautiful liturgy at the Thanksgiving Mass for the Silver Jubilee celebration. Noteworthy is the positive disposition and commitment of the conference towards the NCWR. Right from the foundation of their conference, competent and committed male religious have served in the Executive Council of NCWR, first as advisors and later referred to as chaplains. The first priest to serve in this capacity was Reverend Father Lawrence Carr, SMA. He was then the Secretary General of the Catholic Secretariat of Nigeria, Lagos, and later the provincial of his congregation in Ireland. His commitment and expertise was at the basis of the forming of the first status of the Nigerian Conference of Women Religious. When he returned to Ireland, he was replaced by Reverend Father Joseph McKenna, SJ. He was the longest serving chaplain to NCWR, serving for 9 years, and at the time he was also the Education Secretary of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria, and superior of the Jesuits in Nigeria. This history is very fundamental in recounting the contribution of consecrated persons to the development of the church in Nigeria. Interestingly, while serving as chaplain to the NCWR, these priests also served in various ad hoc committees of the NCWR. They helped many female religious congregations to facilitate their general chapters and update their constitutions. After years of commitment, Reverend Father Joseph McKenna, SJ, was succeeded by Reverend Father James Okoye, CSSP. He was at that time the superior of the Holy Ghost Fathers. His administrative experience and expertise solidly shaped the historical evolution of the NCWR. The Reverend Father James Okoye, CSSP, was succeeded by Reverend Father Christian Ihedoro, CMF, who was then the provincial of the Claretians in Nigeria. Amidst challenges, the Conference of Major Superiors of Nigerian Men have continued to function. 25 years after its establishment, on Friday, 29 September 1995, the conference celebrated the silver jubilee of the foundation of the conference from 1970 to 1995. This was celebrated in a symposium at the Pastoral Institute, Bodija, Ibadan. On Saturday, 30th September 1995, the conference celebrated a solemn pontifical Mass of Thanksgiving, which was presided by His Grace, Most Reverend Dr. Felix Alabajo, the Archbishop of Ibadan, in the chapel of the Pastoral Institute, Ibadan. It was followed by a reception. The choice of Ibadan and the Archbishop for the celebration of the Mass was significant, for it was at Ibadan that the Conference of Major Superiors of Nigerian Men started as the Nigerian National Conference of Major Superiors 25 years earlier. For the purpose of executing the policies and programs of the Conference of Major Superiors of Nigerian Men, she set up a secretariat headed by the Executive Secretary. The secretariat has not been stable, as the conference does not have a stable secretariat. The secretariat has always moved with the earbud of the Executive Secretary. With the appointment of Brother Andrew Iwawo, FMS, the Secretariat moved to the Generalate of the Marist Brothers, where he served as their Education Secretary. With the appointment of Father Kanu Ikechukwu Anthony, OSA, as the conference's Executive Secretary in 2011, the Secretariat of the conference moved to Assumption Parish in Kwanike, Enugu, where he served as pastor. In 2012, Reverend Father Kanu Anthony, OSA, was appointed the Secretary of the Augustinians in Nigeria. The Secretariat thus moved with him from Enugu to Jos, where the provincialate of the Augustinians in Nigeria was. In 2015, Reverend Father Kanu Ikechukwu Anthony, OSA, was appointed the parish priest of St. Vincent, Olodi, Lagos. The movement of the Secretariat from one part of the country to another accounts for the loss of a great part of its historical documents. The documents of the conference from 1970 to 1990 are yet to be assessed. However, the loss of her historical documents is also part of the history of the CMSN men. In September 1990, the Nigerian Conference of Women Religious began an Institute for Formators, IFF, Jos, first at the Pastoral Center of the Catholic Diocese of Warri at Agbaho as a temporary site, and later fully established in Do, Jos, in June 1992. In 1992, male religious served in the board of the Institute. However, It was only until 1998, during the annual General Assembly of the Conference of Major Superiors, that the male religious were accepted as students into the institute. In fact, in September 1998, 2 male religious were admitted into the institute. In 1995, during annual combined General Assembly of the 2 conferences, the institute was opened to the male religious on the condition that they would build a male hostel. However, by September 1996, male religious were already part of the institute as students. It served both conferences for some time until it collapsed for lack of personnel and funds in 2003. However, at the Joint Executive Council meeting of the conference in 2004, 7th October was fixed for the reopening of the institute, as the Sisters of Mercy and Claretian missionaries buoyed up the hope of the institute by providing the core staff members. From 2004 until 2005, it is noteworthy that Reverend Father Kenneth Ogwejiofor, CMF, served as the coordinator of the institute. Unfortunately, in December 2005, the institute closed down again and reopened in October 2006. When it reopened, Reverend Father Chris Chukwu, CSSP, served as an assistant coordinator to Sister Uche Mosu, SHCJ. In January 2004, the Justice and Peace Initiative was formed as a brainchild of the Conference of Major Superiors of Nigeria Men during the plenary session of the conference's annual General Assembly in Kaduna from 11th to 15th January 2004. The body was formed to be complementary to the JDPC of the Catholic Bishops Conference, Catholic Bishops Conference of Nigeria. However, independent because of its special focus. The aims and objectives was to enable religious institutes and societies of apostolic life work as a team in the area of justice, peace, and development. To help the decision of the Conference of Major Superiors of Nigeria Men to reach the grassroots at the annual general meeting of the conference in 2002, held at Azomta Pastoral Center, Weri, the conference decided to hold regional meetings with each region charged with a particular responsibility. The regions constituted were Lagos, Ibadan, Abuja, Jos Kaduna region, Benin Calabar region, Owerri, and Enugu region. The conference has also made several efforts to see that she reflects the reality of the church in Nigeria and the universal church at all times, and thus her status have been revised several times as the need arises. Status of the conference was revised in 2002, signed by Very Reverend Father Oban Osuji, CM, who was the president, and Brother Christian N. Mbam, FMS, the executive secretary of the conference. In 2011, the status was again revised and signed by Very Reverend Father Michael Ngoka, CM, and Brother Andrew Iwago, FMS, the then president and executive secretary of the conference, respectively. In 2013, the expansion and development of the conference. In 2013, with the expansion and development of the conference, the status was revised with due development of the conference. The status was revised with due permission of the Congregation for Institutes of Consecrated Life and Societies of Apostolic Life. This was signed by Very Reverend Father Henry Omon Isaye, CMF, and Reverend Father Anthony Kano, USA, the President and the Executive Secretary, respectively. In the year 2013-2014, during the celebration of the Year of Faith, the conference made a couple of publications to mark this celebration. These publications include Faith and Life for Africans' Commitment to Christ, Reflections on the Christian Creed, and Echoes of Hope, the stand of the Conference of Major Superiors of Nigeria on issues of faith and life. In 2015, being the year of consecrated life, the conference dedicated her yearly journal to discussions on issues that relate to consecrated life. It had the general theme as Consecrated Life in 21st Century, the African Perspective. The conference further printed the prayer for consecrated persons on cards and distributed to different dioceses in Nigeria. It also printed a program for the Year of Consecrated Life to guide the different dioceses in Nigeria during the year. The main activities of the conference during the year include separate and joint annual assemblies in January, 3 executive meetings, usually in January, April, and September, mutual relations with CBCN whenever the opportunity arises, and seminars on topical issues. For a more comprehensive collaborative initiative, the conference endorses the efforts being made to gather experiences from all its members. The aim is the formation and effective network all over Nigeria through the establishment of viable cells at the grassroots. This is meant to harness for a richer and more dynamic pastoral approach the deposits of the gifts and charisms of the various member institutes and the huge number of people that make up the institutes. Thus, the ultimate desire of the conference is that it may continue to be empowered for greater effectiveness in the apostolates which its members have in common, all to the greater glory of God. In 2019, during the 52nd Annual General Assembly of the conference held in DRAC, Abuja, the conference took a major step in her journey towards building a secretariat in Abuja. This has been a subject of debate and planning for several years. However, in 2018, the land was bought, and in 2019, the groundbreaking event was done. This event was presided by Very Reverend Father Dr. George Okorie, SMMM, who was the president of the conference. The groundbreaking event called for the need for a more concrete effort towards planning for the building of the Secretariat. The conference also works closely with other conferences on the continental level. It is linked to the Conference of Major Superiors of Africa and Madagascar, COMSAM. The continental body is made up of about 20 national conferences and is headquartered at Cotonou, Benin Republic. On the national level, the conference operates in close collaboration with the National Conference of Women Religious, National Conference of Women Religious, NCWR, a conference that brings together all the female congregations in Nigeria. Together with NCWR, the CMSN meets in a joint session in January each year for a week to discuss issues of common pastoral interests and to explore and profile some strategies with regard to fresh pastoral challenges. The forum has enabled the two sister conferences to collaborate in several areas, including the management of justice and peace related issues and in developing a joint response to disaster situation. All these years, the Conference of Major Superiors of Nigerian Men has shared in the church's great responsibility of new evangelization, which is centered on conversion to the truth and love of Christ, and consequently, the spiritual and moral rebirth of individuals and societies. Encountering Jesus Christ shapes peacemakers, committing them to fellowship and to overcome injustice. It has supported leaders of various congregations and societies, promoted dialogue and collaborations among leaders of religious institutes and with the Catholic Church and society. It has provided and continues to provide a corporate influence and voice for male religious leaders through its national and regional structures. The passing of each year introduces the conference into new episodes full of hope and promise for the church, local and universal. May God bless the Conference of Major Superiors of Nigeria, men. Thank you and remain blessed. I am yours sincerely, Reverend Father Kingsley Nonso Obu, Executive Secretary of the Conference of Major Superiors of Nigeria, men. God bless you.